I started 26 years ago. Yes, I was 12. Mary, did you hear that? I was 12 when I got started. 26 years ago, most of you know my story. I apologize for those of you that have heard it before. Some people say that they could probably tell my story, but I've been asked to share it. I started for Christmas money. I had a sick child for a year. We were $27,000 in debt. Didn't know how we were going to pay it. Years before, I had prayed for a ministry with women. Never did I expect this to answer that prayer. I thought it would be inside the church somewhere. But what God gave me was an opportunity to share with everyone outside in the world and to be a light in the world. And we are a light in the world, especially in the kitchen, and I want you to know that. So I started just for 2 nights a week, and I'm going to do a real short version. And I ended up doing my 2 months. I was going to go to a sales meeting in January with 76 names on people with papers, leads of people that wanted shows to give to my sisters in the business. There was only one guy in the business at that time, Chuck Kowalski. And so anyway, I was walking out of my house that night and I said to my husband, I said, I'm giving away business here. And he said, well, Nancy, if you want to keep doing it, as long as you keep it to the 2 nights a week, I'm good with that. He put the kids to bed from the day they were born every night because his dad wasn't around. That was really important. He goes, I put the kids to bed anyway, so it's fine, but not more than 2 nights a week. He also knew his wife very well. And so anyway, instead of giving all those leads away, I came back to my meeting and said, I'm going to stay. And the girls said, oh, great. But, because they were expecting all these gifts, and I did give a lot of them away. But and that's something that I want to encourage you to do. If you have an overabundance of bookings, give them to your team members who deserve it. It will help you build your business faster and stronger. They'll get to the point where they won't need bookings anymore from you or help with bookings. But again, they had to come to 3 shows to get on my giveaway list because I wanted my host to have the same experience with me as they did with my people that I was giving the bookings to. Okay, so I came back and then I decided, this is a real business. I'm going to start treating it like a real business. And that's something I'd like to challenge you with, and Mary said it herself. If you invested $100,000 into this business, how would you treat it differently? Well, by my 4th year, I was earning $100,000. Yes, and those numbers would be double today because party averages are double. Okay. One of the things my husband and I did from the beginning, well, I should say from the beginning, from year 3, because at the beginning he told me, just keep your money. I don't want to put it in our budget. He always wanted to give me the opportunity to stay home with the kids, and we would live within that certain budget. And I said, okay. And so I proceeded to help pay off that medical bill and put wallpaper on the walls. That's when wallpaper was popular. And buy us some cars. And the year I made $50,000, he said, "Okay, this is getting serious. We have to we have to plan with this money." And so one of the things we did was we went out to Baker Square with a yellow legal pad, and we put on there 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15 years across the board. And then we wrote each of our kids and what our ages were going to be during that 1 year. So we put all of our ages of our kids, and then we put what financial needs we thought we would be needing. We also put college or school needs. We ended up sending our kids to private school, and we put a little map, road map, of what we were going to need when over the next 15 years. And we dreamed big. We dreamed that we wanted to have $20,000 in the bank, by year 10. That was big to us. When you had $20 in the bank, $20,000 is a lot of money. I mean, when you didn't have much, all right? We lived in a 1,000 square foot home. We saw each other a lot in that house. There was one area to be in, and we were always in it. But you know what? Those are sweet days. Those are sweet days, We made that plan, and God answered prayers. We paid off. We were very faithful with paying off that bill. Rich had a business. We invested in his business. We did things for our friends and our family that we, to this day, are so thankful for. Taking them on vacations. We rented places for all of my whole family, which you know me, we're Italian, there's a lot of us, and all the grandkids went. Each family had their own house, and Rich and I provided those things. It was such a gift to be able to do that. Do you know those kids are like 30 and 32, and to this day they say that was the best vacation that they ever took, ever, even during college. So those are precious memories. We've sent people on honeymoons because of Pampered Chef. Dream bigger than just you, okay? Dream about what you can do, what you can give. You know, a lot of people come to my house and they go, I expected more. They expect a Sherry Carr house. Sherry, I love your house. I can't wait to sleep in it, okay? But I have a very humble husband. I have an artist, and we're just low key. And you know, that's good for us. That is good for us, and I'm very thankful for all God has given us. And I can be happy for other people. But I will have a Jaguar someday. Just saying, okay? Just saying. But you know what? It's been so cool to live through those years and reevaluate because of God's good gifts. Now, I've worked very, very hard at my business. All of you are working hard at your businesses. People say, if I would have just started back then, I gotta tell you, my answer to that is, you probably would have quit. We had no host program. The host program was 10%. We had no catalog. We had no training. We had nothing. Today, we have everything we need for success. Every single possible thing. So throw those ideas of, oh, if I would have just started back then, where would I be today? Today is your day to succeed and go forward. Today is your time. It's today. Today is your day, and go forward. And if you've had a bad year, if you've had a bad whatever, let it go and go forward. Because many times we struggle with the very thing that if we just went to work a little bit more, we would handle, right? Most of the time we struggle financially. You know, a lot of times that's what it is. If we just went to work, that would be gone, okay? And I did build my whole business on 2 nights a week. You guys know this, that 2 nights a week is magical. And you know, a lot of your party averages have gone up. So you're doing a few less shows because you're making the same amount of money that you did when you worked 2 nights a week. But I have to tell you, you're not seeing as many people. So therefore, you're not recruiting as many people. And then you don't have the extra bookings to give to your people, okay? It's really important that 2 nights a week. I can't say it enough. I did that until I was an executive director, and I really encourage you to do that. You need to identify your life plan. If you don't have a life plan, I know a lot of people are doing what's the guy that, Dave Ramsey. I'm telling you, if you cannot manage your budget, you need to get his books. You need to go to one of his seminars because you know what is life-changing, all right? And you can live without debt, and you can live within your means, and you can live very happily, okay? The next thing is goals are dreams put into a timeline, okay? If you don't have a date for the different goals that you have or the different things that you need, it's never going to happen. It's always going to be way out there, okay? And you need to create solutions to potential problems and overcome obstacles. Now, there was a lot of things that Rich and I have gone through. I've had cancer. I've had 5 surgeries. I had a baby 5 months before I became a quote-unquote national, before I had 16 directors. Yes, yes. There's a lot of things that we've been through. We've been through a move. We've been through, you know, stuff with our kids, you know. But life happens. If you had another job, you'd still have to go to work. All right? But instead of going to work 4 hours in a night, you'd have to go to work 8 hours a day. All right? Don't take for granted the good thing that we have. All right? Don't take for granted. Work your business like you invested $100,000. The 3rd year I was in my business, a very special lady named Cheryl Adams. many of you know this story, but she really challenged me. I was the first one in the company to have $500,000 in a year of sales for my team. For my team, okay? And which doesn't sound like anything today. But that was a really big deal because the company was 10 years old and I was the first one to do that. And Doris made a big deal about it at a regional meeting and gave me a big ribbon with it and the whole shot and a nice gift. And Cheryl came up to me, she was our keynote speaker, and she came up to me and she said, "Nancy Jo, I'm so excited for you. You own a $500,000 business." And I go, "Oh, no, I don't own the business. Doris Christopher owns the business." Yeah, I just work for the Pampered Chef, and yeah, I thought she was confused. You know, she's a little older, you know, kind of like me now. But anyway, you know, I just thought she was confused, and she goes, "No, Nancy Jo, you own a $500,000 business." And I tried to correct her again, and she says, "No, you own a $500,000 business, and when you take ownership of that business, you will go further for you and work harder for you than you ever would for anyone else." She goes, "Would you do that? Would you take ownership of your business today?" And I said, "Well, I'm not the owner." "Yes, you are." She goes, "Contemplate that, would you?" And then she wrote on her book, "Call me when you own $1 million business." Love, Cheryl. I still have that book today. It's on a very special spot on my bookcase because that weekend it changed my life. I kept arguing with my brain. No, I'm not the owner. But I did build this business, you know, what I had. And I kept going back and forth and going back and forth. And then I said, "You know what? I am working for myself. I am going to do this." And I called Cheryl and I told her, I'm taking ownership of my business. I'll call you when. One short year later, I called Cheryl. Because my team does between 48 and 50 million in sales a year now. But that $1 million was huge for Pampered Chef. I doubled my business. So many people make mistakes in their business and give up really quickly. They just say, "Oh, I can't do this. It's the wrong time in my life. I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time, or I don't have this and I don't have that." You know, if you really want it, you'll make time to do whatever you need. I'm absolutely sure of it. What are you spending your time with? I remember at the very beginning of my marriage, my husband worked out of our house, and I was watching, well, he called them dope operas, okay? Soap operas. And, you know, because I was home with the baby, I was home with Chrissy, and, you know, and every once in a while he'd come through the living room and he'd say, "What are you watching?" I go, "Oh, Luke and Laura." And then 6 months later he'd go through and, you know, "What are you watching?" He goes, "Are they on the same deposition?" I was always big with Alan Quartermain. Anyway, and he made me feel so bad about wasting my time. And that's when I started quilting. That's when I started being creative and finding the gifts within me instead of watching dope operas. Okay? And they were just dopey to me. I'm not telling you what to do, please. But what else could you do with that hour that would give you more fulfillment, is my question. Is it your business? Do you need to take an hour for you to go exercise? I'm telling you, starting Monday, don't call me at the office before a certain time because I'm not going to be there. I'm serious. I'm sick of it. I really am. I just want you to know. I got to put me first for just a little bit. It's been a long year. Thank you. But seriously, when you think about the time we waste, and a lot of times the people that are working full time, how many people are working full time? You get more done than some of the people that are not working at a job outside the home.